Hey y'all, it's me, Micah. I'm doing something slightly different today. I'm answering questions and assumptions that people had about me. I posted on both Facebook and Twitter asking people for questions or assumptions or whatever, and I didn't get a whole lot of responses. All the responses I got were from Twitter. No one on Facebook responded. Slackers. Not really. My Facebook friends are amazing. So I'll just read what questions I got. I have my computer on my lap, so if you hear a very fast, weird sounding electronic voice, that's from my computer. And it says certain words are misspelled because it doesn't recognize certain things that are actually words. So yeah, I think that's all I need to say before I get started with these. So yeah, I'm gonna answer y'all's questions, and when I post this on Twitter, I'll tag the people who asked questions, because there were only 4 people, I think, 4 people who asked questions, but a few people asked multiple questions, which is good. So the first one,
Beginning of text. Soul. When I read your bio, I imagine you in a rock band.
first one is from Soul. He says, when I read your bio, I imagined you in a rock band.
I know you play jazz, but have you ever played rock, or would you like to play rock?
I know you play jazz, but have you ever played rock, or would you like to play rock? Actually, yes, Soul. I have played rock before. Me and my dad and my stepmom and 2 of our other friends are in a rock band together. I haven't played with them in over a year because I'm busy and I live not super far away, but kind of in an inconvenient place to get to. So I haven't played with them in a while, but yes, I am in a rock band, and in that band I play the keyboard, play piano, or that kind of thing. So yes, the short answer to that is yes, I have played rock, and I really enjoy it. It is a lot of fun.
Joey assumes I give good hugs.
Joey says that he assumes that I give good hugs. Yeah, I've been told I give really good hugs, especially since I'm really skinny. So when people see me, they don't think that I can give good hugs because I look tiny. I'm tall, but I'm a stick. So people don't assume that I give good hugs and then I hug somebody and I squeeze the breath out of them. I give really good bear hugs for somebody my size. I get that from my dad.
New line. Mickey, you seem like a cat person. It is spelled TBH.
Mickey says that I seem like a cat person, TBH. Oh my gosh, yes. I am most definitely a cat person. I love cats. I need 7 of them. Maybe not actually 7, because that would be a lot to clean up. But I love cats. Yeah. Just ask somebody who knows me really well. Anybody who knows me well will say I love cats.
Do you feel like you feel your gender super intensely? Not at all, or something in the middle?
Do you feel like you feel your gender super intensely, not at all, or somewhere in the middle? That is an interesting question, because honestly, it kind of changes. Sometimes I feel it pretty intensely, and those are the times when I'm most certain that I'm right about myself and that I'm not faking or pretending or anything like that. And then there are other times where I either don't feel it at all or very, very weakly. So then I'm like, am I just pretending? Am I not actually who I say I am? That kind of thing. And then sometimes it's kind of there, but it's not strong. And those are the times when I sort of think, yeah, I think I'm right about myself. I'm pretty sure. Those are the times when I have to keep thinking of things that I know, thinking of things outside of the way I feel in that moment that confirm that I'm not faking or whatever. So yeah, sometimes it changes, and I don't really ever feel my gender at one intensity all the time, which makes things really confusing. And then the last question from Mickey.
Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Actually, yes, me and some of my other friends are doing a campaign right now, and it's the first time I've ever played D&D, but it's not the first time I've ever done a role-playing game. I did a Star Wars role-playing game somewhat similar to D&D. I can't remember how old I was when I started, but we did it for a good few years, and then we stopped about almost 5 years ago, I think. So, yeah, I do play D&D.
New line. Ryan Michael, I don't remember the idea, but I would love to know how you choose mobility aids.
Ryan Michael says, I don't remember the idea, but I would love to know how you choose mobility aids and doctors. In terms of mobility aids, the only aid I use is my white cane, and for choosing a white cane, I just choose one that's the right length and made out of whatever type of metal isn't too heavy, but also not too light, because if it's too heavy, it gets hard to move back and forth after a while, but if it's too light, it's harder to control because it feels like it's gonna, it's too light. So finding the right kind of metal or material can be an experiment. And then finding the right kind of cane tip. The kind of tip I use currently it's called a ball tip. It's a ball, I don't know, maybe 2 inches across. I don't know. I'm not good at measuring things. So it might be about 2 inches across, and it's a sphere when it starts out, and then it gets worn down after a while, and then it ends up being worn down to a cone. But it rolls so that I don't have to pick it up and do more work than necessary, because I walk pretty quick, so I like to keep my cane on the ground and just go. So yeah, that's really all that goes into choosing mobility aids, is just finding the right length of cane and the right kind of metal and the right tip. And then for doctors, for regular doctors, my general practitioner does fine. And then for eye doctors, there's an eye doctor that I've gone to ever since I was little. So whenever I had to go to the eye doctor last year because I started having some pretty sudden vision loss in my left eye, and that's still going on. Sometimes I notice it more than others, but my left eye is worse than my right one, so I went to my eye doctor, and she checked it out, and she just said that it was just related to my eye condition that I already have, so there's nothing that could be done about it. But yeah, I was trying to figure out what eye doctor to go to, and my mom told me to just go to the one that I've gone to since I was little, so that's what I did.
Have you read any nonfiction books about any of your identities? If so, which are your favorite?
Then his second question,
Have you read any nonfiction books about any of your identities? If so, which are your favorite?
have you read any nonfiction books about any of your identities? If so, which are your favorite? I have not read any nonfiction books about any of that. Well, I don't know if that's technically true. I tried reading, when I was first discovering everything about myself, I tried reading a book about LGBT teenagers, but it was only talking about sexuality. So, and it was just talking about being lesbian or gay or bi. It didn't even mention asexuality or anything like that. So I wasn't a big fan of that, and it was not a very interesting read, so I put it down, and I was like, nope. So, also, I'm sorry that I'm talking so fast. I talk fast a lot, so I'm sorry if it's hard to understand me.
New line, Soul 1. Is descriptive audio in movies good? Do you enjoy movies? If so, which kind?
Another question, or more questions from Soul. He says, is descriptive audio in movies good? Yeah, it is. It does. The descriptive audio in movies and TV shows does a really good job. Whoever writes the stuff for that does a really, really good job of describing what's going on.
Is descriptive audio in movies good? Do you enjoy movies? If so, which kind?
Do you enjoy movies? If so, which kind? I do like movies. I like There's some kind of musicals that I like, but I'm kind of picky about that. So I can like musicals. I like things like Star Wars or Star Trek, things like that, kind of science fiction, things in space, that kind of thing. And if my friends want to watch a movie or whatever, I might watch it with them, but watching a movie is never my first choice of entertainment. I always like to read books more than watching movies. So, yeah, I like a lot of different kinds of movies, but I never want to sit down and just watch a movie. Or very rarely do I want to sit down and watch a movie. So, that depends.
I always assumed you understand some Spanish. Is that correct?
And then his second question, or second separate question, is he says that he assumes that I understand some Spanish, and is that correct? That is. I took 4 years of Spanish in high school before I came to this university, and then I took 4 semesters of Spanish here, but I haven't practiced in almost a year. So I've forgotten a lot, but I do understand some Spanish and I can speak some. But since it's been a while, my pronunciation is probably terrible, so I'm not going to do it right now. But yeah, I do know and understand some Spanish, but I am far from fluent.
New line. Kyla, hey dude, do you like misspelled Pokemon? If so, what is your favorite misspelled Pokemon?
And Kyla says, hey dude, do you like Pokemon? If so, what's your favorite Pokemon? I'm not really into Pokemon. So if I had to pick a favorite, I'd be cliche and say Pikachu, because he's the only one I can think of right off the top of my head. Because I've never really been much into Pokemon. I'm like, it sounds kind of cool, but it was never really something I was super interested in. And then,
Do you have a specific non-binary identity preference, like misspelled, demi-white, or gender fluid, or simply?
do you have a specific non-binary identity, like demi-boy, gender fluid, or simply non-binary? That is a wonderful question, Kyla. I am not sure. Because it's hard for me to figure out because of the fact that my sense of my gender shifts. So I don't know if my gender itself shifts over time or if my awareness of it is the only thing that changes, or if it's both. So yeah, but even within the shifting and stuff, there are things that stay the same or stay pretty constant. For example, I always want a deeper voice. I always want my voice to sound less like a 10-year-old child. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. And I don't like how soft, the softness of the timbre of my voice, basically. And the texture of it, I don't really like that, so I want that to change. That's one of the things that's pretty constant. I'm constant about liking my short hair, which I'm going to get it trimmed tomorrow, and I'm glad about that because it's starting to get in my eyes again. Actually, it has been getting in my eyes for the past few weeks, but anyway. So I normally just say I'm somewhere on the transmasc spectrum somewhere, but I don't really have a specific term that I use. So yeah, that's still something I'm trying to work out, because I'm like, am I actually gender fluid, or is it just gender flux, or is it fluid flux, or waves hands around in the air frantically in confusion.
Non-binary.
Yeah, that was the last question. So, yeah, even with specific things to talk about, this was still longer than I thought it was going to be because I ramble. and I talk fast, and it's still long. I don't know what my deal is. But yeah, I'm sorry if I was talking too fast. I was trying to slow down, but that's hard for me to do. And the only time I talk slow is when I'm not certain about what I'm saying or what I'm trying to say or how I'm going to get it across. All the other times when I get excited or when I know what I'm going to say, I talk fast. So I need to work on that. Anyway, I hope I answered your questions in a way that you like, I guess. And if you have any other questions or assumptions or random things you want to say, I can either respond to you directly or make another video. Whatever. Because I do have a life, but, you know, I get bored easily. So yeah, I guess that's all. I answered all the questions. And yeah, I don't have a good way to end this. I'm terrible at ending things. So, I'm going to stop now. Bye.